Deep in the misty, shadowed heart of the Loire Valley lies the Château de Brissac, an ancient, towering edifice that looms like a ghost from another world. Its stone walls whisper secrets of grandeur, betrayal, and unimaginable horror. But behind the castle's beauty lurks something far darker, a presence so twisted and tormented that the very air inside those walls feels heavy, suffocating. The legend of Charlotte de Brézé, known to all as La Dame Verte, haunts the castle's halls with a chilling vengeance that has echoed through centuries. It was the 15th century when the château was home to Charlotte de Brézé, an illegitimate daughter of King Charles VII. Despite her royal blood, she lived trapped in a marriage devoid of love, bound to Jacques de Brézé, a cold and brooding nobleman. Their marriage was nothing more than a prison, one where Charlotte's heart ached with loneliness, and her thoughts became consumed with darkness. Behind the walls of the château, Charlotte found solace in the arms of another man, a secret lover. They would meet in the dead of night while the rest of the world slept, the creaking floorboards beneath their feet, the only sound that dared betray their sinful liaison. For a while they thought they were safe, but shadows have eyes and walls have ears. Whispers began to weave through the castle like a sickening poison, and soon enough those whispers reached Jacques. They say his rage was like nothing human, his eyes blackened with fury, his hands trembling with the thirst for revenge. One storm-lashed night, Jacques followed the trail of shadows to Charlotte's chambers. What he saw ripped through him like a jagged blade. His wife, entwined with her lover. Without a word, he drew his sword. What followed next can only be described as a scene from a nightmare. Jacques fell upon them in a frenzy, his sword slashing wildly, fueled by rage, jealousy, and hatred. The walls of Château de Brissac became stained with the blood of Charlotte and her lover as they screamed in terror, their lives extinguished in brutal violence. The final gasps of Charlotte echoed in the air long after the killing had stopped, faint, broken cries that would never truly fade. In a frenzy of panic and madness, Jacques buried the bodies deep within the château's dark, unforgiving foundations, thinking the truth could be hidden. But the dead, as they say, don't stay silent for long. The birth of La Dame Verte. It wasn't long before the Château de Brissac began to tremble under the weight of what had been done. At first it was subtle, soft footsteps in the night, hushed voices in empty rooms, cold drafts sweeping through the chateau like a deathly breath. Then the moaning began. Every night, as the hour crept toward midnight, the mournful, soul-piercing wails echoed through the castle's halls. The servants whispered of Charlotte's ghost, her spirit unable to rest, tortured by the betrayal and violence of her final moments. But it was the sight of her that truly shattered the peace of those who stayed within the chateau. She came, dressed in the same tattered green gown she had worn on the night of her death. A haunting vision, her face, once beautiful, now distorted into a grotesque mask of suffering, her eye sockets empty, hollow, dark, bottomless voids that stared into nothing, yet seemed to see everything. They say if you meet her gaze, the cold of death seizes your soul. La Dame Verte roams the chateau to this day, her ghastly presence more terrifying with each passing century. Her face, disfigured by the violent end she met, is said to twist in torment, her empty eye sockets locking onto any who dare cross her path, and when she appears, she does not come alone. The sound of her moaning grows louder, unbearable, as though the very walls are screaming with her. A cursed legacy. Those who have slept within the chateau speak of the unbearable cold, the overwhelming feeling of dread that makes the blood in their veins freeze. Many guests have reported waking in the dead of night, unable to move as they hear the soft, pitiful cries of La Dame Verte echoing from the shadows. Some say they've seen her, a fleeting glimpse of a green dress disappearing around the corner, followed by an intense, suffocating silence. The most horrifying encounters happen deep within the night, when the chateau is quiet and all that remains is the faint rustle of the wind. It is in this stillness that she appears, slowly, deliberately, her haunting presence filling the air with an unnatural chill. Her moans, those guttural, agonizing moans, crawl into your bones, making your skin prickle with terror. There is no escape from her watchful eyes. Her restless spirit lingers in the chateau forever, trapped in the same cycle of torment. Those who dare to stay know that when midnight strikes, La Dame Verte will be there waiting. The Château de Brissac, beautiful and cursed, stands as a tombstone to the twisted love, jealousy, and murder that birthed one of France's most terrifying ghosts. Visitors beware. Those who enter its haunted halls may leave with something far worse than fear. For once you encounter La Dame Verte, her hollow gaze might follow you forever.